This is Fred Beck and Fred Fighting. I'm joined over Zoom today by Jesse. Jesse, it's always been my dream to interview you. Have to say that right now. How are you?
Dude, nice to meet you too.
Whereabouts in America are you joining me from right now?
We got a little headquarters here in Torrance, so kind of like South Bay area in LA.
Hmm.
And yeah, I kind of moved down here like a year and a half ago. Kind of like Hermosa Beach, Manhattan Beach, this kind of by the ocean vibe. It's really cool here.
Do you like kind of being in the mix of it all, where everything's happening, or do you prefer kind of the calm sort of vibe where you get cracking your own thing with zero distractions?
Definitely, probably to the average person, I like being like secluded, not in the action. That's why I have no need to really go back to Studio City, Hollywood, that kind of area. It's a lot more chill here and quiet. But I'm actually like just recently kind of being like I got this idea that I'm gonna get this house in the middle of the woods one day and just be like alone. And I think I've been kind of racing towards that too fast, where I'm like I'm still pretty young and it's nice to like meet people and work with people and be in the mess a bit. So I'm kind of coming back out of my hole a bit, and it seems interesting to be in places like LA and New York and just being in the action a bit. It's fun.
Would you say you're more of a, that's quite interesting what you say there about kind of a cabin in the woods, you, a dog, you go hunt for food, that sort of vibe. But would you say you're more
Yeah.
social, would you say you're more of a social person though? Or do you like parts of your life where you're around lots of different people and then other times where you're just by yourself and you're zoned in and you're working?
Yeah, I think that I was kind of antisocial for a bit there. I was very like that. I don't know what caused it. Maybe it was like just like the whole Nelk train, everything like going up was a lot. And so I kind of was trying to like run the other way from that. But now I'm no, now I'm kind of like pretty cool with it. I kind of want to be around people and busyness and all that. I don't know. It's just like it's weird. It's like a whole other question, really. It's just like I'm just happy and like yeah, just feel good. So
That's nice. When you're happy, then everything kind of fits into place. But I could ask, what made that tick then? What made that little change?
I think just a bunch of like personally, like just a bunch of changes in my life and like who I am, and and a lot of just like working on yourself and what do you actually want to do every day, and and then on the other side, just getting healthy. I mean, that helped a fuckload.
Hmm. Okay, yeah, I guess when you're going out every night or when you're not drinking, then it's a lot easier waking up the next morning or waking up at 9 a.m. the next morning to go on and work. As I can imagine. But you started work is Sunday. For those who don't know what Sunday is, do you care to explain what it is?
Yeah, Sunday is it's like a this is called a creative agency. Basically, we create in-house brands and in-house shows, and we also do the same for clients. So we'll help from A to Z for different brands and people that want to create anything. Like it's just basically product development for them. And then helping them with the marketing. And then we kind of have the same team built to do in-house products too. And then on the show side, we have a YouTube channel. We only have one show right now, but the future plan is to kind of build that into like a network, kind of similar to like a Vice type thing. And we're in no rush to jump into that. I know that creating a bunch of like media shows is super time consuming and costs a lot of money. And I want to make sure I do that right. So, but yeah, that's kind of a scope of what we do here.
Okay, that's quite interesting and it's quite different from your old days back in Nelk. But do you find
Mhm.
now working at Sunday, you're kind of more motivated? Because I know you're in quite a good position in life. How do you kind of wake up every day still motivated, start a new business and still keep cracking on, waking up at the same time, organizing your employees? Where do you get that motivation from? Is it just the pure happiness and the enjoyment of it?
Yeah, I don't think I think deep down I've always been a hard worker. That's never been like an issue. It's when like right now everything that I'm working on, everything I'm creating is all coming from my brain. It's all things that I want to do and then I'm building out those teams. So it's that it's everything I need. Whether I had all the money in the world or had none, I would be doing the exact same thing. This is just I like bringing things to life, and So yeah, to answer that question, and just my motivation just comes from it's what I would be doing either way, at a small scale or a big scale, I think.
Okay, I kind of see it coming from there. I won't ask too much about Nelk because I know you probably do get asked. I know you don't do many interviews, but in the ones you do, you'll get asked for about 80% of the interview. Probably will be about Nelk. So I can imagine you probably, oh, again. So it will become a bit repetitive.
Yeah.
But with Sunday, I guess with Nelk, you kind of have a strict procedure, kind of filming the merchandise, and I know you kind of went off and did your own sort of thing, still under the Nelk branch, but under the Shithole brand, which I obviously really enjoyed. Kind of a documentary series of behind the scenes. I mean, you just touched on the kind of the Shithole brand. Like it's quite
Yeah.
funny saying shithole brand. Of the behind the scenes. How did you manage to kind of get around organizing that? Because I understand some bits are kind of scripted, some bits are real. And how much positive feedback did you get? Because I think a lot of people didn't understand how much work went in behind the scenes when it wasn't with the pranks, when it was due to the branding and the merchandise. How much kind of feedback did
Yeah.
you get of that and the exposure of it all?
It was good. I think because it had it was a really good hybrid, coming from a prank party show to, hey, this is prank and business kind of lifestyle. I think it was like a really good transition. I mean, that's why I think the views did great. The audience loved it, and it was definitely a lot higher in the production level. It took a lot of work doing pre-pro and setting that up. Like some of that shit was like hidden camera setups and shit. And like you're moving around a lot of footage to edit that too when you get into post. And it was just taking like 80% of my time. But it was like the best experience ever. I basically just felt like I was creating what I thought a perfect television show would be. And it's funny now because the channel's pretty much just behind the scenes in lifestyle of Sunday and operating the company. And it makes sense. Like it gets a lot of like hate and stuff because like you're just releasing a new product on something that a lot of people subscribe to that's not the same product. So it makes sense to get a lot of hate. And but I do think that it long term it kind of works out that we kind of did do behind the scenes in the business side mixed with the pranks, and now we're kind of fully doing just behind the scenes of building companies. So I think there was like a little buffer there that helped transition some people to understand what we're doing here. But I think everything takes time. I've just been realizing that too. You just
Mm.
gotta like, as long as you think it's great, then like just keep doing it. So it's really inspiring when you see as an example, like I don't know, do you listen to Joe Rogan
Yeah. Everyone does. Who
podcast?
doesn't?
Yeah, he's great. Yeah, it's great. And it's like even seeing that like I mean 10 years ago he was doing a podcast, two podcasts a week every week and no one gave a shit. And but he was just like, "No, this is something I could do for the rest of my life and it's something that I want to do." Like he just wants to do it whether he's getting paid or not. And I'm trying to kind of like take the bit of that energy right now for what I'm doing because like I know that this is cool and I think that the story that's building and like how it's gonna like as everything gets bigger, the show gets bigger and cooler. It's just like it's one of those things that like I don't care if no one watches it or if people don't understand it for like it'll make sense in the end, like long term, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um to kind of explain like the transition that we're kind of going through right now. But
Mm. You also have lots of different kind of, I guess some of it's acting, a lot of it is real as well. A lot of different characters coming in. I think the other day you had Jonah come in. You had Tucker,
yeah.
the guy with the green headband. Do you remember him back from the show episode ages ago? He was
The older guy, like the grandpa.
no, it was Grandpa's grandson. I remember you saying,
Oh, Tucker,
yeah,
you're funny.
Tucker.
Yeah, yeah. Dude, he's great. Yeah, he's hilarious.
Because you have lots of different kind of characters coming in. It's always found quite interesting. You always for the intro as well. I will ask about the intro because I loved it how you had a new one each season. You had your dog Chewy at the back there. You can see on the camera there. You took a poo at
Yeah,
the
yeah.
intro. Was that staged or like how did you manage to make that happen? I've always wondered this, even from watching the intros. How did you have to have a camera in for ages? How did you make him do that?
The like when he was at like the fire hydrant, like taking a piss or something.
Yeah.
I can't remember to be honest. I'm trying to think. I remember the original shot that we wanted for the intro was like Chewy peeing on a fire hydrant that we had, the little grass around the full send statue. And I remember we talked about it in pre-pro. We were like, how are we gonna like like, are we just gonna put a camera on it and then leave him in the warehouse until he does it? But like, I'd have to re-see it to understand how we did it. But it might have just been one of the filmers like waiting until he did it.
Poor guy, must have waited a long time.
Oh yeah.
And it's one of those questions I've always thought about. Okay, how to manage to do that? It's quite interesting. But one of the things about you, which I've noticed, is I guess with Nelk, it's quite a rigorous structure. You can there's filming, there's planning, there's pranks, there's traveling. It's kind of I forgot the word. It becomes quite repetitive. Do you like to keep things fresh? I guess a Sunday is something new every day. Is that one of the reasons why you might have left Nelk because it becomes a lot more repetitive? And when you're doing your own thing, you have stuff. It's quite fresh. You're doing new things every day. You keep things quite active.
Yeah, I think there could be a little bit of that. I think it was more about just a personal pivot though. Like I just wanted to jump into a whole new world of something else. And because at the end of the day, even what I do now, like there, I think to build strong businesses, everything has to be repetitive at a certain point. You know what I mean? You have to just keep up with the things you're currently working on. That was honestly something I had to work on personally. I don't know if anyone can relate to that, but it's the I think you get it when you're one of the guys with the creative brain a little. They like staying focused on one thing or trying not to do 100 things at once. And I've been actually working on that lately to just like hone in on the certain projects that I have going and just continue to do them until they're where I want them to be or they're streamlined. So honestly, it's trying to get away from the I need something fresh and oh, what is this? Or let's do this every
Mhm.
day. I think that you end up not really having a lot of direction if you do that too much, you know?
That's true. You've got to find the right balance, I guess. You don't want to do things
Yeah,
too
exactly.
much, but then you don't want to do things too little. So I guess everything in life is you do things a little bit, find the right balance. I'll just ask, do you still keep in contact with Kyle, Steve, Salim, all the guys from Nelk? Do you still kind of tap in on those guys every now and again?
Yeah. I'll tap in. Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
We
that's
don't see
nice.
each other a lot, but yeah, we'll send a text or something real quick.
Okay, that's quite nice. Do you think you'll ever go on the Full Send podcast? Do you think that'll ever happen?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. They offered it like way back when we were first doing the kind of like the split sell the company and there was just so much stuff that kind of can't be talked
Mm.
about like when we had to do the deal and it just felt very like it would just be too stressful to go on there and not know what you can really say and all that and I just didn't want to and I really never do want to anything to look bad on their company and there's no bad blood with them and it's good so but some time's passed and yeah I think I would go on there for sure.
I
Yeah, it
guess
should be kind of cool to go chat with them again.
Yeah, I guess it's quite cool. I guess leaving it longer is better because obviously it builds up the fans. People are like, oh, I want to know what's happening with him. And I guess it makes more sense when you got all your stuff together. Sunday's all set up and doing really well, and it makes more sense for you to go on the podcast then, so you can talk, you can promote Sunday more. You've also got more to talk about. So I guess if you go on it like a few months ago, when Sunday's still up and coming, it's still growing, and it's not fully set up yet,
Mhm.
you'll have less to talk about. But when you got it in a year's time when it's all booming and all doing really well, I'm sure it's doing really well now, but in a year's time where it's doing really well, then I guess you got more to talk about. So that does make sense. But just before I let you go, your dad, just checking in. How's Pat doing?
Oh, he's good. He's still crushing the pizza and wings every day, and I'm trying to get him to eat a little healthier, but no, he's good. I think he's gonna come down in a few weeks again.
So he'll be in the videos then.
Yeah. I think like once a month he's gonna pop down. Just he just loves coming down here and I got a house now, so yeah, anytime he wants, I just say, dude, hit me up, I'll fly out.
Hmm.
And then it's always good to see him. I want to go back home soon too. Fucking I haven't been back in Canada in like a few years.
Why is that? Just because of timing and travel, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think I just kind of I dove into starting this company and I just haven't really let off the gas. I've just been working and working and working. But yeah, it's we're doing pretty good now and things are getting a little more streamlined and I might take, a week or two off and go visit the family.
Is it quite nice to be able to say, oh, I'll just fly my dad out next week or in a few weeks' time? And I guess like 10, 12 years ago, that would only be a dream to say.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm so appreciated for it. Like there's a lot of things that like, you work really hard and you get to a certain point where things get easier and like you said, yeah, like little things like that. Like I don't have to think about flying my dad out. I don't have to think about how I'm gonna eat tonight or get groceries or pay my rent or like little things that like I mean a lot of people trying to grind at what they're doing still stress about. And I try to never take that for granted, man. It's yeah, it's pretty crazy because like I'm still young, like it's crazy to feel this secure in life at this age is a blessing.
Yeah, certainly. But then again, you deserve it because I guess you have worked very hard for it. But regarding Sunday, in the next few months, what do you got coming up for it?
Well, we've been planning out like a full year of drops. That's like the big thing I'm excited for. So I don't have a date yet. I'm thinking like August, we're gonna do our very first drop, which is it's really cool because I mean it's a totally different brand and I have no idea if like what the response will be like. We've been kind of testing the waters, but yeah, I'm just super excited to see how that does and rolling out those collections. And then yeah, just like a bunch of other projects in the works. We got like a show called Dad Mods with Amazon in the works. We got fucking blanking. Sorry, it's been a long day.
That's fine, it's fine. It's
I
hard
should
when
just show
you
you
it's hard
that
when you list it
here.
off the top of your head.
This will answer your question. This is some of the projects coming out. That's the wall. That's
That's
the
crazy.
wall of shit to stress me out every day. But yeah, I mean, nothing really to advertise, but a lot of stuff coming out.
For the drops, you're gonna do it where you're gonna do, I guess for t-shirts, for example, the clothing, you're gonna release it and then never do the same designs again, and when it's sold out, it's gone, or it's gonna be kind of a constant stream of clothes will that always be available. How are you gonna manage to sell it, you reckon?
Yeah, I'm gonna do drop style. Not a lot of SKUs. Um, just because like again, like we don't know what the outcome will be, and I want to make it special for anyone that isn't interested in it. And but yeah, the idea is basically that Sunday, this whole company that we're doing with this color is all gearing towards the catalog, which again will make sense, later down the road. But um, everything that gets added to the catalog will be in the Pantone. And when that drops, that piece, like the t-shirt that you probably have seen that we've made, um, say we do like a core t-shirt, sweater, hoodie, hat, socks. We're just like, hey, this is it. We've like figured out all those pieces. They will drop at X amount in the green, and then Bloody Sunday will design on it too. So anything that you see in a product that's in the Pantone, those will never drop again. That's kind of like the format of each drop. So you'll see all the silhouettes in the green, and then you'll see the same silhouettes designed in Bloody Sunday. And then these will never drop again. And then going forward, Bloody Sunday can keep designing off of that silhouettes. It's kind of complicated, but that makes sense.
Do you think there'll ever be any confusion between Sunday and Bloody Sunday, or do you think when it comes out, it'll become a lot more clear?
Oh, I think everything I'm doing right now is confusing. I
Oh,
know it.
that's
I
good
know it
then.
because I have staff that are like have to check in on a certain brand guide for something we're doing. I made this really hard and really difficult to follow, but I did it for a reason so that it can kind of be fun for some people that are interested in it to like figure out long term. But everything I'm working on is based off of like a 10-year vision. So it's just like as it rolls out, like I think my biggest fear is like creating something that doesn't have meaning really, and you go make a bunch of cash for 2 years and then no one cares about it. I really wanted to create something that kind of unfolds and builds on top of itself. And you got now, if you have in the future a whole bunch of people following this brand, it's a lot easier for that brand and this difficult system you create to make sense to them because they're now like, hey, I've been a fan of this brand for 5 years. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's kind of the vision.
So you love the longevity of it all. You want to see it continue and evolve over a long period of time.
Yeah, I want to because there's so many things in this space that doesn't like they can scale at like if you're just looking at it as a value sense, but and making more money, but they don't scale properly as in other parts of it like are interesting how they scale. It's sorry, I'm being kind of
No, I
confusing
find it
right
really
now because
interesting,
I'm
Jesse.
like,
Continue. I'm really
yeah,
interested. It's good.
because I'm literally like reworking this and figuring out new things every day with this. So but it does all make sense in my head. Like it's I'm very excited about it. But yeah, it's just I mean that's what's so funny when I do an interview or something right now because it's like I am still figuring it out. And same with the Sunday show. It's like I'm letting people transparently see me and the team figure this out. And it's like the last thing that any company wants to do. Because everyone wants every company wants to advertise like a polished game plan. And I think that's what's so cool about this is it's like nothing is polished. We are like figuring this out and you're kind of figuring it out and you can literally comment or be a part of figuring this out too. Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
It's quite nice. I guess it's kind of like a some of those games where you don't know what's going to happen, but then it'll be right in the end. But I've got to ask, you don't do many interviews yourself. I looked
Mhm.
before. I don't do much research, I guess, but for you, I was like, okay, let's definitely look into this. It's exciting. But I could only find like a certain number, 3 or 4 interviews that you've done. So I've got to ask, how come you do an interview with me? Why? Why is that?
Um, I saw some of your interviews and they just look good. Yeah, you seem like a cool guy. I was like, why not? Let's do it.
I appreciate it, Jesse. That's cool. That's mad that I don't know. Obviously, here in the UK, you do a lot of the kind of influences. It used to just be normal boxing, but now you thought, why did I just limit it myself to one thing? And so now you kind of just do anyone I'm interested in talking to. That's crazy. Wait, can I ask which ones did you see? Because I saw you liked a couple of the posts on Instagram a while back.
I can't even pinpoint like the first one or what brought me to you, but I think like might have been some, it was probably one that got a lot of views or something. Did
It
you
might
do
have
like
been
Logan Paul?
The Logan Paul and Mike one or Jeff
Yeah,
one.
that one brought me in, I think. And then I kind of just connected you two, like in my brain was like, oh, you're like a UK reporter for all this, like the boxing events and stuff that are going on. Um, and no, dude, you're really good at what you do. You have a good flow when you're interviewing people, and it's like it's interesting. So
I appreciate it, Jesse. It means a lot coming from you. I guess the Jeff Whittick one as well reached more American audience. You know Jeff, don't you? Carl.
yeah, I did see that. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
Jeff's
they're
great.
awesome. How they're on camera is how they are in real life, but it's the same, which is always quite funny hanging out with them. I mean, it was back in October. Jeff came over, and I spoke to him a bit before online. I went around to their place because his mate Churdless was fighting, and so I think it was after the weigh-in. We went around to their place. We did an interview with Jeff, and he's like, "Do you want a haircut, Fred?" I'm like, "Sure." You can't reject that. So I did a haircut with Jeff. So I'll probably come over to LA in a few years, or whenever there's a boxing event over there. I guess in my job right now. I'm always quite appreciative of the amount of traveling you got to do because I'm only 18, so it's quite interesting when you go to a lot of different places in the world. I think like 2 weeks ago, I was in Poland doing some work out there, doing some interviews. I guess you do appreciate where you come from, so it's quite nice. But I've got to ask one last question: when do you think you're going to get that cabin in the woods? How long are you going to give it?
Dude, I was close. I almost did it like this year. And I just like very recently, it's like I was saying before, it just like hit me that um it's just like not time to do that yet. Like I I, I think maybe I could do the cabin in the woods like at the end of the year, something very small, like go get like a $200,000 cabin and use it as a tool for when I'm really like, hey, I'm gonna dive into the next 5 collections for next year, and I want to just be consumed by this. So I'll go there, bring the certain designers and people that I want to bring, and we will like, yo, for 30 days, we're just gonna stay in the cabin. We're just gonna like work on this project. I think that's where I could use it as a tool, but this whole like goal that I've been working for is to just like have this house in the middle of nowhere and have this land and have a dog and like just make this like beautiful life. But I just don't think I'm like ready to go do that yet. I think I got like a lot more work to do, and then and that's not going anywhere. You know what I mean? I can go do that when I'm 40. But I was kind of trying to run there, so I think I'm gonna put it on hold and just keep on grinding.
I guess it makes sense to go there when Sunday is up and running, so it requires less work, less effort. What would you be going out every day with Chewy, hunting, fishing, that sort of thing, the ranch lifestyle?
Oh yeah, dude, I would become a mountain man. That'd be my
I
goal.
bet
I
you
want
Pat would
no
love it.
phone.
Pat would definitely come out and see you.
Oh yeah, for sure. Honestly, I think that he wouldn't last as long as I would out there. Like my dad is actually kind of a city boy. Like he lives in Hamilton, Ontario, and he's like he needs to be near a grocery store and all that. Like what I want to do is like I want to go out where you like you have electricity, but I don't want anyone to be able to like contact me. I don't want to work. I want to have to like drive 10 miles down the road and go like use a phone and or whatever and check email and like be like, oh, how's the company going? Getting updates, whatever. But I want to just be secluded and dude, it's the dream.
That sounds
Just
pretty
kind
good. It's nice to have that. It's nice in your position after you kind of achieve so much and you got a certain amount of success and money, I guess, but you want that extra little thing in the very end. But you're holding it back from yourself until you think, okay, now mentally or I'm happily, I'm ready to go there. So it's quite nice to got the end goal in mind. You can wake up and think, okay, one day can get a nice little house by the lake. So it sounds pretty good. It's nice you got kind of a little plan there. But Jesse, I do appreciate you coming on. Best of
yeah,
luck
of
with
course.
Sunday. I'm sure we'll catch up in probably a year. I guess we can do one in another year. In a year's time, we can do another one of these, and then we can see how Sunday's going. Hopefully, the channel's not dead. Hopefully, it's still alive.
Yeah,
Hopefully, we're both doing well. But I do appreciate you coming
yeah.
on, Jesse. Thank you.
Oh, of course, dude.